Sid, I think, has a photographic taste memory.
Sid's accomplishments, I think, have probably not been equaled by anyone else. I don't have them handy, but if I had the list here, I'd probably have to be here for 15 minutes.
Depends what you like. Depends what you like. You may like Chardonnay. You may like Corton Charlemagne, Bouchard Pear, Grand Cru, grown on limestone terroir, high alcohol, lots of flavor, lots of new oak, fermented malolactic in oak, lots of oak flavor. You may like that style of wine.
How cold is your cellar, and how is that the wines that are from there are immortal? They come out 40, 50, 60 years of age and they're so young, and I don't think I've had yet once try a wine that you brought over that was corked or not showing great. What's going on there?
He's the go-to person for pretty much everybody in the wine business.
He is without peer in Vancouver.
It's a tough question. I don't know. I don't understand the question.
I met Sid Cross when I first arrived from South Africa in 1977.
Which Sid do you mean?
I hadn't been there for very long when I was invited to a Commandery de Bordeaux function, and guess who was there? Sid Cross.
Do you mean Sid, the taster?
The next one was a couple of weeks later, Le Chevalier de Tastefan, and Sid Cross was there.
Sid, the food guy?
And then I was down to the Chien de Rotisseurs, and Sid Cross was there.
Sid, of the International Food and Wine Society in London, England?
And then I went to the International Wine and Food Society event, and Sid Cross was there, which made me realize Sid may have been a lawyer, but his importance in wine was very important.
Which Sid do you mean?
The first official encounter was when I threw an old Barolo dinner at my home, and a good chef friend of mine who was doing the dinner said, I'm going to bring a guest with me. His name is Sid Cross.
Sid, who makes his mum line up for wine early in the morning at Thurlow and Alberni liquor store.
And Sid showed up with a bottle of a 1990 Borgogno Barolo, thinking that it's going to be one of the older wines of the night.
Which Sid?
I don't know, because he wasn't expecting the old, by we mean 60s.
I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know how to answer the question.
I went to a wine tasting with Sid shortly after I met him. And one of the things that immediately impressed me was his extraordinary ability to remember the taste profile of a wine, not just for the glass in front of him, but for other vintages of the same wine, and for the same wine that he's drunk on other occasions.
One thing I learned about Sid, never ever challenge him at a blind tasting, because this man has an amazing palate and an amazing memory to match. He'll taste the wine, he'll hum and haw, he'll think about it. Meanwhile, mentally, he's going through a process of elimination. And when he finally makes his decision, 9 out of 10 times, Sid would be right at a blind tasting.
Question I have for you, Sid, or maybe it's for Joan, is what is she feeding you? You have this amazing memory, and I thought here that I'm the one with a good memory. It's truly amazing, the wines that you remember we've had together many, many, many years ago, and exactly how they were and how they showed and all those things.
There was never a wine that Sid tasted that he didn't make notes on. It didn't matter if it was the lowest priced wines or the most expensive wine. He documented everything.
Wines, it's important to take notes. Always take notes, have a book. Bordeaux, 1975, La Lagune, tasted 218 times since 1978. A bit tannic in 1978. Last tasted, International Wine and Food Society, London, England, with Harry Wall, Michael Broadbent, and the Queen of Sheba. Has some tannin to lose.
Sid is both a friend and a mentor. He has been instrumental in helping me out in the development and success of the annual Wine Law Conference that's held in Vancouver. And he's been an incredible resource with anything to do with the wine business, both in British Columbia and around the world.
Sid, I'm sure you know this already, but you've been a great inspiration, not just to me, but to a lot of people here, young and old. Your keen enthusiasm, your meticulous record keeping, and those eyes of a kid in a candy store every time you still come across a great find or a great wine is very contagious.
Sid is a real, true wine lover. I mean, he's basically devoted his life to everything to do with wine. And his interest in it is so intense that he'll stop at nothing to expand his knowledge of it. It's impossible to imagine where food and wine in BC would have been today if Sid hadn't invented them for us.
Somewhere along the way, I got into the habit of picking up these tasting booklets and making tasting notes. And so I'd like to share with you a tasting note for a wine that I recently tried, a vintage Sid Cross. It's a blend of 60% razor-sharp intelligence, 24% finesse, and 16% eloquence. All harvested maybe around 1940 or so, the Sid Cross exhibits an extraordinary bon vivant nature, an unctuous texture and sweet blackcurrant fruit intermixed with culinary, legal, and educational notes. The Sid Cross is a hedonist's joy. This superb effort is showing exceptionally well right now, but ideally it should be enjoyed frequently and repeatedly over the next 2 decades.
Sid, here's to you. You're a professional, you're a friend, you've done a lot for me, for this industry, for everyone, I'm sure. Congratulations, and next time you're invited to a tasting, pony up and bring one of those DRCs. Cheers.
Cheers, Sid. Congratulations.
Sid, I'm very pleased to have been invited to toast you, welcoming you to the SIPS Award, and look forward to many years of Sid Cross in the wine industry in Canada. Cheers.
So I would like to raise my glass to Joan, the great woman behind the man. Cheers, Joan. And cheers, Sid. All the best. Depends what you like. You may like Grand Cru Chablis, Les Clos, William Fevre, grown on chalk terroir, Chardonnay, fermented in stainless steel, fresh, juicy, lively. Depends what you like.